Heyo. How's everybody doing, man? It has been quite the last couple weeks, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of stress. Been a lot of everything. I am looking forward to some rest, but I gotta go to work tomorrow. So, uh, I think I talked about last time how I was out of town for about 10 days or 9 days, something like that. Uh, with two buddies of mine, two other devs, and we all were in Kansas City having a good time, playing board games, going out and eating, having some drinks, and doing all the stuff that you expect. It's a great time. Then when I got back, I had to finish up my conference talk, which I just did. Went here to DevFest, Florida, and it's been it was a good time. Um, it was something that I really enjoyed doing. I really enjoyed talking, and hopefully someone recorded. I don't know yet, but if not, I'll find out, and we can share it. But it was a fantastic time. Being able to speak at an event, got to meet a lot of cool people. Got to meet some subscribers, some a little awkward and shy, some not so much. So it was it was nice to say hello to everybody. Um, I remember one one couple. They God, maybe somewhere between like 18 and 20, and they do the like they did one of these like sort of little palm wave, and I know that that's like I want to say hi, but I'm too awkward to do it because I do it. So I remember going up saying hi to them. They were both very nice, and I was trying to have I was like introduce myself right, and they're like, oh yeah, we know who you are. I was like, all right, all right. So the FBI, what's going on, right? But no, I was like, oh, cool. I'm glad you guys decided to come. Sort of shot the shit, and the guy was kind of quiet. His girlfriend sort of was like, oh, we watch your videos all the time. She was much more friendly. Not that he was friendly. I think he was just sort of nervous. Um, it's so strange. So here's like the strange thing, right? Is like a lot of us are awkward, and then like so there are occasionally people who are like a little gun shy that are fans to like talk to me. Um, to me, it's always cracks me up because like I don't know. It's like it's even awkward to say that. Does that make sense? Because like I don't take myself seriously at all most of the time. But it's really cool to meet a lot of people. I got to and Eric and I filmed a podcast today about it. They'll come out in a week or two, um, talking all about it. So I don't want to dive too deep in it, but we talk about sort of the conference experience from start to finish. Also, some advice. Um, Eric's trying to goad me into applying for NGConf. I was like, dude, I did like a small conference, and now you're talking like, let's go, like 0 to 200. Like we're not even going 0 to 60, 0 to 200. You just think we'll see. Might might do something. How you doing, Neil? But it was a good time. Yeah. Everyone was really nice, and if you're ever there, man, if you ever catch me at a conference or something, and you want to shoot the shit, I'm always down to shoot the shit. So don't ever feel like you're bothering me or anything like that. I did feel bad. There was one gentleman who introduced me. I couldn't really talk to him. He just came up, said, "Hey man, I've been watching since the microwaves in the back. Big fan." I said hi real quick, but it was like literally I was on stage to prepping to do my talk, and I was like trying to figure out this internet issue. So I wasn't able to really talk to the guy too long, but he was nice, and it was a cool thing, man. I think I will speak at more conferences in the future, and having done one, I have a couple ideas about what I'm going to what my how some things I would change and what I would do differently, what I would continue to do, and having gone to another one. So is good. I really enjoyed it. So, as everyone's sort of funneling in here, I want to talk about opportunity. And one thing I wanted to make clear for a lot of you guys is that um, opportunity, there's two types of opportunity: the one that happens more often than not, and the one that rarely happens. And the one that rarely happens, that opportunity comes to you. And you should never count on that. What you should count on is you going to the opportunity and you making your own opportunities. And good luck to our boy Jose Gonzalez. And thank you for the $2, man. 3 interviews coming up this week. Good on you, man. Good luck with that. And how did he get those interviews? Well, he probably studied and he probably applied, right? At some point in your life, opportunities will come to you. It's sort of a strange world where nowadays sometimes opportunities come my direction. It's very strange. I'll never not be sort of surprised like by that. But more often than not, when something goes right in my life, when something goes right in the workplace, it's just I went and got that, went after an opportunity. There's opportunity out there, and I want it, and I'm gonna go get it. And that's sort of what happened with the conference. I harassed them. I should say harassed. I sent several emails. I followed up. They didn't ask me to speak. I said I wanted to speak. Put me in. Let me do it. And I followed up, followed up. Bam. It worked out. And would it have worked out if I didn't work on other things? Would it have worked out if I didn't, put all this time into a YouTube channel, all this time into a podcast, do courses, have a Facebook group, all this sort of stuff? Who knows? But that's other things that you put time, effort, and energy into so that you can have higher success rates of pursuing opportunities, and that opportunities eventually can come your direction. You don't have to pursue everything, but you should always pursue something. Um, you hear my voice a little bit tender because I had a cough. I was that guy that went to a conference with like a cold, and I'm pretty if you went to DevFest Florida and you left with a cold, I take full responsibility, and I'm sorry, and I wish you the best because I did have a cold, but and after talking, because the first night I went to a speakers dinner, met all the other speakers. It was a really cool thing. Um, really liked it. Really nice people. It's cool to shoot the shit with people who are like equally passionate. And I if you notice in the community tab or in the Facebook group, I talked with the Thunder Nerds podcast guys, and they were like doing an interview with all the people who were at the event, and so that was cool. Sat down with them and shot the shit for about 20 minutes. They interviewed me, talked about, asked me about my stuff and what I'm doing, and so that was really cool. Really nice people. Um, but I'll be going on Tech Junior, if I remember. God, I'm probably mispronouncing his podcast name. My brain's a little bit jelly. I've been tired all day. Um, but it was a great experience. But the point I'm trying to get across is that the networking that's coming from doing something like this, the opportunity, and there's other opportunities that I don't want to spoil it all because the podcast that we recorded today was really good in my opinion. And so, um, I want you guys to watch it in a week or two, and I'll probably do a video. But it was the opportunities where you're going to progress your career. That's going to be you going out there and getting it. And that's sort of how I've approached a lot of things in my career, whether it's going to get raises. You know how you get the best raises? You go and get them. They don't come to you. So um, you renegotiate your salary with a counter offer because you went and got a counter offer, and now you doubled your salary or you increased it by 10, 20, 30, $40,000. So that's how you do it. If you're waiting for life and opportunities to come your way, occasionally they will. Most likely not, but occasionally it does happen. But if you're being proactive in life and you're being proactive in your work and your whatever you're passionate in, that is how you go and be successful. That is how you go and good things start happening. Things start aligning. All that hard work starts paying off, right? because it's not enough to put in a lot of hours. There's a lot of people who work very hard and don't get paid very well or aren't as far ahead as they want to be, regardless of the field. It's not just software, right? So you need to make smart choices, and you need to make proactive choices where you have a plan and you're trying to accomplish that plan, whatever it is, and you're going to progress significantly faster and further more than anything else than other people. Okay. So that's the intro. Let's see if we got any questions, because this isn't just about me talking about this. I mean, the whole point of these weekly things is to help you guys out as much as I can. Do you recommend a computer science degree or a software engineering degree? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. 2 cents. Do whichever one you can get fastest, cheapest, and get into the workforce. The man, the myth, the legend, the coding god. Yeah. Um, so, can I say hola if I see you? Hey, I'm from Southern California, boy. You can say hola. I say hola back. Me llamo es Dylan. That's about all I remember from my 2 years of Spanish classes. Uh, did I get a lot of feedback and questions? Yeah, man, it's pretty cool. My buddy Patrick intentionally asked a question to stump me, and then there's this really cool guy Benjamin in the audience, um, and he was brilliant, man. I had a chance to talk with him, and he answered a couple questions I didn't know the answer to, and he was a little bit worried that I was going to be like take it personally or peeved or anything like that, um, but no, it wasn't not the case, man. If you have a better answer than I have, I want you to share it because I want to get better. You know what I mean? Just because I'm on stage doesn't mean that I'm the smartest person in the room, or doesn't mean I'm the most knowledgeable person about what we're talking about. And should all I expect from a speaker is that they're more knowledgeable than the average person in the audience. But if there's one or two people in the audience that knows more than them, that's completely acceptable by my standards. And so I never expect to be the smartest person in the room. And like there's a guy who I'm gonna be reaching out to in the near future, from Google, and he wanted me to do the Google Developer Expert program, and the thing, because he's like, hey, you're the right fit, you're passionate, you're helping the community, I'd love to recommend you on this, and so I said to him, I am hesitant to say I'm an expert at anything, but I will definitely follow up with you on that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was questions. They were nice about it, and I had one other buddy ask a softball question. But there's some good questions. Yeah, there was you know, my talk was a lot about using TypeScript and models, um, to how can I put this? Using TypeScript and models to protect ourselves from APIs. Really, at the end of the day, so it was very front end focused. And there's a good question from a gentleman who was like, "Well, what about like other things? Like we open source is part of our lives." And so I explained how I would tackle utilizing a component library, because that wasn't necessarily part of my talk, but it was very relevant to the idea of protecting ourselves from third party dependencies. How long would you stay at your company if they take no interest in you? It totally depends. So like for me, I have investment accounts and 401ks that vest at 5 years. So it depends on how miserable I am versus how much money I will lose, and how much better of an opportunity there is out there. What I will say to you is that you should never go and work a job that you're unhappy with, because it will impact every aspect of your life. And that's why I don't do overtime. And that's why I'm very honest and tell people when I'm happy and when I'm unhappy, and why the reasons are. Because if you don't tell your superiors about how they're messing up, they can't fix it. And if you do tell them and they don't fix it, well, then you know they don't care, and you can move on with a guilty with a free guilt-free conscience. Even though you shouldn't have one, but we still some most of us do, right? We have some sense of loyalty. And you know, so that's what I would say to you is don't ever work a job that you don't enjoy. And that's unfortunate, John. I John, I completely understand. Um you know, so and that's very true. When you're so here's the thing. My former tech lead said something to me that was very profound, and I ever since then it's stuck with me. He said, I used to love going home and coding and working on side projects, but ever since I had this job, I hate it. I don't do it anymore. And the same thing was happening to me at that company. And at that moment, I knew I had to get out because when that job was killing what made me successful, what made me love the work I do, I knew I knew that it was going to ruin me. Quite literally. And that's a very dramatic thing to say, that it's going to ruin me. Right? That's like very biblical almost. But that was how strongly I felt about it, is that is that the things that make me who I am as a professional, and the things that make me successful, the things that make me enjoy my job and make me progress my career, they are taking that away from me by them making me miserable. So, a couple things. One, I could talk to them and ask them to not do it. And obviously, as I just mentioned, I did. It didn't work. Two, I can move on to a better opportunity where hopefully that's not the case. So, and to that point, to John's point, not necessarily about the ED, not that specific thing, but these things can have, I remember going to bed angry, going and waking up and not wanting to go to work. And when I wake up on a Monday now, I don't go and I don't ever go. It's very rare that I go into work. It does happen. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that I go in. I'm like, oh, this is so great. I would totally be here if they weren't signing checks. But what I would say is that I've worked at jobs where I literally just the idea of going into that place where you sit in the parking lot 5 minutes before you walk in, and you're just like, because you just need to sort of mentally prepare yourself for all the bullshit, or you're just, you know, you're sitting in that car and you're thinking like, dude, am I really going in here? And you go, yeah, I gotta pay the bills. And then you do it again the next day. Am I really going in here? Oh shit. Yeah. I guess I'm going in here. Um, and you go, do I have any PTO left? No, I don't. I used it all because so and what ends up happening is it starts affecting your mentality. It starts affecting your love life. It starts affecting your relationship. It starts affecting everything. And it's just like a virus, and it impacts your whole life. But you got to get rid of the virus. So it never stay at a job that makes you unhappy. My last job actually made me extremely depressed. Not to mention working 80 hours a week isn't good for anyone. Yeah, never work 80 hours a week. That's it. Don't work overtime. Don't work overtime. Find a company that understands that you are a valuable resource and put in a strong 40 hours. So Mario says, "Hey Dylan, next week I'm starting my job as C# programmer. So basically, I want to say thank you because the videos I want to find motivation. Keep going and improving. Thanks. Good luck, man. Keep up the good work." Uh, hey AB minus, that's why I code. Yeah, and and a lot of us hit our sort of job rock rock bottom, um, where you're like, dude, I just killed myself doing 80 hours a week, and all I got was $1,000. Like you just like you're I killed myself and I barely made any more money. And it's like I'm never gonna make a dent. I cannot do this. And then you start saying, I have to do something better. I have to do something that's gonna give me better benefits. That gives me more money. That allows me to spend more time with my family. That allows me to know that at some point I'm going to retire. Um, so hi Dylan, do you think PHP will be relevant in the years to come? So I had a so I had this discussion with my buddy who is a he so I've worked at two jobs with this buddy now, and he when we first met, he was avid PHP guy and worked in PHP for years, and so it's so nice, it's so this, it's so that, and I'm like, dude, first off, PHP statistically, you make about 20% less than uh, JavaScript developers, and so there's that, and there's a reason for that. Two, it sucks to work in PHP. Um, Three, it's PHP. You know what I mean? But no. So do I think PHP will be relevant in years to come? I think PHP will keep doing what it's already doing. Where PHP will be the majority of PHP jobs will be maintaining legacy applications. And even my buddy changed his PHP backend to be Node. And I'm not saying JavaScript's always going to be the answer, but JavaScript and Python are great choices for stuff right now. So what I think will happen is that PHP will continually go down steadily and very slowly, and that it'll just be legacy work. That's what I think will continue to happen. Are there still some greenfield development in PHP? Yeah, there's definitely some. But there's probably still some in Pearl, like somewhere. Whether you should do it is another thing. do do I ever plan on being totally self-employed? Um, I don't know. So here's the loving the podcast. Thanks, Jose. Here's the thing, John. That's very interesting. I used to think so. But there's some financial aspects of working for a company that are going to be very hard to overcome. Um, and what I would say is that it seems to be that the more you progress your career, the less work you have to do, and you get paid better for it. In the sense of your career becomes very interesting, and so I could see myself working for a company the rest of my life, but still having multiple endeavors that I'm working on simultaneously, and working part time for those companies. But I've never really had any interest in like doing YouTube full time, but I do want to continue building passive income streams and have that option. Let me put it that way. Right now, it's not an option. Right now, um, it's just a dream that we're aspiring to. And I wouldn't even say that's the dream. The dream is having the option to say, I want to go and maybe pursue a project for 2 years, see how that goes. And if there's something I feel super passionate about, but that I want that option to do that if that time ever comes. Um, and so that's what I would say to that answer to that question to answer that. And we're not there yet. Do I think we'll get there? Yes. Do I know when? 5 years, maybe. Are there Node.js opportunities for new dev? Yeah, there's tons of Node jobs, man. I do my best not to say as many Julie. I'll be, it'll be interesting is if they actually did record my talk. I'll count the ums and see how we did. Hey, thanks, Marcos. Do apologize. I'm trying not to cough in the mic, but it's a little hard. I got the old conference talk. Have I ever worked in HTML Canvas? I have. Although not like super in depth. A lot of it was like fixing broken stuff in Canvas, and it hasn't been for a while. It's very powerful, but it's very complex at the end of the day. I have a belief that there's so much software out there that could be worth millions, but the marketing slash sales slash economics kills developers. I don't know. I think you always have to find a way. There's always going to be competition, but if you have a good idea, you need to get it up as quick as possible, get it in front of people's hands. And nowadays, the number one way to market is on social media, which in theory is completely free. So if you come up with a great way to market a product, um, you can you can do very well without spending any money, just a lot of time and creativity. Thank you, Julie. Do I think free code camps JavaScript projects are okay for a portfolio starting? Yeah, absolutely. So here's my thoughts about portfolio projects: is you put in what you have. If you go and apply to a job and you have nothing, put in your free code camp portfolio projects with the goal of eventually replacing those with better projects. Right? Your your goal should always be to keep getting better, keep making your resume better, making it nicer, making it improve. Right? Your skills should be growing. Your hireability should be growing every year. You should be getting better. You should be growing as an individual, as a person, as a developer. And as that happens, replace some of those older ones that aren't as relevant to your current job, or that aren't, you look back and you say, damn man, that's not a very good project to put on there, but at the time is the best you had to offer. So keep that in mind as you're doing it. It's gone quiet. I'm sorry. I wasn't saying anything. That's all. I was waiting for some questions coming. This ain't for me. I'm here for you. So I didn't see any other questions. I'm saying that's just part of constantly learning. But do you ever think back after finishing a project or a few projects and go, man, I did that really poorly? Yeah, all the time. So here's the thing: if you look back at your code a year from now, and you're like, dude, that is some solid code. Guess what? You're a shitty developer, and you didn't get better in the last year, and you should feel bad. That's the honest answer. Is every year you should look back at your code and say, I can improve this. And if you can't, it's because you didn't try very hard this year and you didn't do very well and you've stagnated. So, yes, absolutely. In fact, when I was serious about getting another job, I went into all my jQuery ones and I updated them, cleaned them up, cleaned the code up, refactored it, did all that. Now, do you need to do that? No, probably not. But absolutely other times professionally and personally where I have gone back and looked at solutions that I wouldn't implement nowadays. Do they work? Yeah. Were they best? Probably not. But even the things that come out now aren't going to be the best. Dylan, I followed your portfolio tips, and recruiters said it was the best portfolio by far. What tip helped you out, Mario? I'm a self-taught developer. Yes, your average programmer. Any last minute tips for my interview is going to be mostly data structures and algorithm questions. Yes, prepare whiteboard. So what I would do to prepare, and what I have done, is I would take some very basic ones, reverse a string, um, evenly take a number and evenly print out all the numbers that are divisible by 7. Um, finding a getting all the I don't know. You get the idea. Those are FizzBuzz. Um, and what I want you to do is get a whiteboard it out, and narrate yourself as you're whiteboarding it out. Do not practice on a computer. You need to be able to do it well enough on a whiteboard that's not going to be an issue. So narrate verbally, record it, watch yourself back, and see if you were convincing and knew what the hell you were talking about. If you do that and you just repeat, eventually you'll seem convincing and know what you're talking about, and that will get you the job. Can you be a back end node dev without Knowing front end, yes. How how does my age work against me in the freelance market? Your age has nothing to do with it. I didn't get my first dev job until I was 28. How can I obtain your portfolio tips? I don't even remember what I told Mario. Mario needs to share. Mario, do my boy AB mind here. I don't remember exactly what call we had with Mario. But yeah, you need to write it out too. And if you are going to solve them on a computer, write it into a text editor. Don't do it into write it into like a like Notepad. Don't do it in a text editor where you get IntelliSense. You need to know, you need to be able to solve these basic algorithms well enough without making a syntax mistake without the IntelliSense. So once you get there, it's gonna be much easier. Um, yeah, everyone wants to know Mario. Uh, put Mario on the spot. Mario has left the chat. Uh, yeah. Uh, so to get started, I always recommend Clean Code, The Clean Coder, and Clean Architecture. You can also read Code Complete, John. Those are all great resources to start learning some of that more mid and senior level items. Any resume tips for not having worked in the industry yet? Yeah, absolutely. You need to clearly organize your skills at the top, followed by your projects, followed by your certifications, followed by, if you have a degree, a single degree. And the very last item is a single job, your last single job that's on there. That's it. You don't care about any of your other work experience. It's not relevant. We're just going to show that you've actually worked a job and that you're currently working. You're aspiring. You're grinding. What's your thought process when you have to decipher bad/very little documentation? Just another day at the office. The best documentation is the code because it doesn't lie. Comments lie, documentation lies, and gets outdated. Code does not lie. Read the code. Look at my girl Julie J here saying, "Smash that like button." I appreciate that. Do you need to be good at data structured algorithms? Um, you need to be able to solve problems. Um, and how good am I at that? I don't know any like algorithms like binary search or linked lists or anything like that off the top of my head. I don't use them. How to make your resume stand out from the pack? I use a site. It's called novoresume.com, and I'd recommend using it as well. I've been using them ever since I got into development, and it's helped me a ton. It's like they have a free version, but they also have like a paid $10, $20 a month version. But I'd highly recommend them. I've been recommending them for years, and it's really been helping a lot of people out. I'm actually surprised LinkedIn hasn't implemented something like their site. It just seems like something they would do. Do interviewers look deep into code of your projects or the functionality? It completely depends on the interviewer. Oftentimes, they're not going to look very deep. That's because they're busy, man. I'm busy. I'm working. Um, and just like the other interviewers, and they don't. So like usually what happens is you'll get sent an email with a resume, maybe how you did in the previous interview, and like what the other dev thought about you, and you'll have linked to LinkedIn and GitHub. And so what I like to do is I just do a quick scan of your LinkedIn, see what you're about, see what your prior experience is. I look at your resume, see if anything stands out or smells like bullshit. Because it shows if I so it's very easy. Like you may be able to bullshit someone in HR. You're not gonna bullshit another dev, and you're not gonna bullshit me. I know that much. So I can easily, if you write something that sounds a little wonky on your resume, where it's like, and I go and I go and I see that, the first thing I'm doing is asking about the wonky, because I want to see if you're bullshitting, if you're full of it, because a lot of people exaggerate and a lot of people lie on their resume. I don't. I just tell you what's up, but I understand that a lot of people are willing to lie, and it's disgusting. Um, yeah, Novo resume, Novo resume. um, so so what I would say is that I look at people's LinkedIn very quickly, I look at their resume very quickly, and then I looked at their GitHub very quickly as well, so that I can see what people are up to. Um, and see if they've been active. So, because being active is almost as important as being good. Because if you're being active, I'd hire. So if I saw that you had all green for a year, I'd hire you, just because you've been grinding for a year. That's enough to me. You can already showed me that you can grind, and I respect that. Depending on if we can hire you or not, it's not necessarily up to me. But if I say, hey, this guy interviewed for a senior, but he's a junior, but he's going to be a senior once he sits down with me for a while. Why schedule an interview with someone who has obvious BS on their resume? It's not necessarily that they're obvious. People put typos on their resume or they type something. So like if I have if I have a conversation with April starting and learn development, right? She's been doing it for almost 3 months now, but she can't quite. There are certain things that she says that I don't bring up because she hates when I do it. That she says a little bit that like as someone who's been working in software a little bit, she says slightly wrong, or she phrases slightly wrong, or she has. It's not that she's incorrect. She misrepresents a certain thing. If I see that on your resume, I go and I bring it up. I want to see what um, what your level of understanding is of that topic, where you're at, because it could be a typo. Look, here's what you have to understand: is the developers want to hire you. What I want you to get the job. You know why? So I can stop interviewing you, because the majority of the majority of interviews do not go well. I interviewed close to 100 candidates at a job. We didn't hire a single one, as we don't have the super hard interview process. So when you get hired, the developers want to hire you. That or when you get interviewed, the developers want you to get hired most of the time. If it's a good place, they want you to get hired because they need team members. They're trying to hire people to lower your workload. Do you understand that? By us saying no to you, it's typically saying other projects or your project even is going to have less help. That's usually what's happening. So when you go in there, everyone in that room wants to hire you because it's hard to find a quality dev. But yet, recruiters sometimes they can't see through it, and sometimes and also sometimes there's things just on a resume that are there for recruiters and not for devs. But besides those questions, I ask the same questions regardless of the candidate and their background usually. What does a junior front end developer actually do at work? It completely depends on the role. You might be building a website, you might be building a web app, you might be building a back office tool. When I started, I was building a lot of back office tools, a lot of CRUD apps for the business. Didn't you do a thing with April? Yeah, 100-day code challenge about 2 years ago. Yeah, almost it almost broke me. It almost literally killed me and broke me as a man. That was one of the worst decisions I ever made. It was from a good place, but just to non-big four companies, you still take their skill test. I don't take skill tests anymore. I have no interest in it. I don't. One, I'm happy at my job. I'm full remote. I make good money, and I'm have no plans to leave the area. And I I have some benefits that vest that I want that money. The old golden handcuffs. Two, I like the people. I like the people that I work with. Two of them are ex-colleagues of mine. I like my tech lead. I like my architect. I'd be a fool to leave. Um, and I get to work in pretty much whatever technology I want right now. So it's really good. Um, will there come a time maybe where I want? I don't know, but the time's not now. Why? I don't feel like studying data structures and algorithms because every time I study that, and then I have to go interview. And when I interviewed with Microsoft, they wanted to interview me again because they said, "Look, both the teams said you were pretty close to being at the skill that they wanted." This was God, maybe 2 years ago at this point, or a year and a half, a year, but not quite. You would you like to re-interview in 6 months again with another team because you did well enough that they're like you're clearly a candidate. I said no because it's a miserable experience. So like because I not only had to fly coast to coast, I had to fly to Seattle from Tampa and back, obviously. The interview was from like 9 a.m. to like 5 p.m. and it was nothing but algorithms. It was exhausting. Every hour, minus the lunch interview, was just four algorithms. 15-minute, 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 15-minute algorithm, algorithm, algorithm. It was exhausting. It was a horrible experience. And not because they weren't nice, not because they were mean or anything like that. Everyone was very cordial. It was just an exhausting experience. And so for me to go and do that again, it would take some real like I'd go and do it when I knew there's zero chance that I wasn't going to get the job, and also when I knew that it was time for a large pay bump, a very large pay bump. So it may happen, it may not. I don't know. But it was so exhausting. It's so exhausting. I said no. I didn't want to go to it again. Is she a developer now? No, she's in a coding boot camp right now. Does getting a computer science degree make you a good developer? No. It will simply make you have a computer science degree and will help you be a little bit more hireable, I'd say. What's the most common mistake people make when interviewing? Um, hmm. Probably not being able to speak intelligently to the technologies that they work in. You might be the best dev in the world, but if you can't showcase that, then that's on you, and that's hard. And your people, at least I should say, that for me, I lean towards not hiring somebody than hiring somebody. So if you're on the fence, it's a no. I don't want to hire people on the fence. I want people to come into an organization that brings something. And if you can't tell me what you're bringing to the team, what you're bringing to the organization, what makes you unique, then I don't want you. And you need to be able to answer that question for me. I work remote. Yeah, this is my home office. So I have one of the rooms in my house that I just dedicate to being my home office. How to get better communicating effectively in tech. So one is just to be better at communicating, sort of force yourself to be out of your shell, try and talk to other people. Be friendly. Two, you do things like Toastmasters. You can start narrating yourself. You can start doing videos, talking more, being open more, getting more comfortable, um, getting feedback and constructive feedback. Um, Speak at meetups. There's a lot of stuff you can do. You still having flashbacks of the? It is an awful interview. Um, I applied to Riot Games a while back, like before I before I took this job, and they wanted me to do some algorithm stuff for a front end role. I said no. I was like, dude, if you guys think that I need to do that I need binary search or I need linked lists for my job, I don't even want the job. And I don't here's the truth, and this is not an ego thing by any means. It's a practical thing. Is that I have 1,000 videos on YouTube, 1,000 live streams. Some of them more technical than others. I have multiple courses on multiple platforms. Um, in the near future, I'll probably be flying out to do a course for LinkedIn Learning on TypeScript. Just spoke at a conference. I have years of resume experience. I have certificates in these things. I actually have certificates in uh, testing centers in these technologies. I have podcasts, all these sorts of things show that I'm doing these things, and there's actual evidence of it. Evidence of it. I'm not taking your multiple choice test. I'm not taking your algorithm test without knowing that there is a significant pay bump at the end. So not especially not when I'm happy. Now I was pretty desperate then, so maybe I should have. But at my job, they really want CS degrees, but the owner was self-taught. Hey, nothing like being a hypocrite. Uh, so I understand why they have to do those tests, without a doubt. I say today one in 10 devs is a decent dev. Have I heard of a company, Accenture? Got an interview there tomorrow. Yeah, Accenture is a consulting firm. Consulting jobs are pretty sweet. You'll be forced to work in a lot of different technologies you're not super comfortable with, but they're usually pretty easy gigs if you take advantage of it. And Accenture is rated very highly. I think my architect came from Accenture at one point. So, they usually pay pretty well and have good benefits, consulting companies. So, good luck. Good luck, Luke John. Like I don't blame them for asking those things, but um, if you're by the way, I'm not like just talking about Riot Games for the record. I applied to them. I would love to work for them. I don't really want to go to Santa Monica, so that was one of the reasons why I was like, dude, I'm not going to bother with this. But when I applied for them, I didn't realize that it had to be in Santa Monica. Um, but generally speaking, I have no interest. No interest in taking your exam, unless I know that you got the money to back up making such a request. Because you know what I charge? I charge $150 an hour for me to sit down with somebody and do something. And you want me to take a 4-hour take-home project? You want me to take? You want me to do 2 hours of algorithms? That's gonna be $300 to $600 as far as I'm concerned. Uh, but if you're paying 50K more than my current salary, 30K more, yeah, maybe I'll do it with you. But so many companies do these things. I remember there's a tech recruiter who wanted me to take this 100-question multiple choice. I said, no, they're bullshit exams. I don't need to. He's like, well, we can't move you forward. I was like, cool. Don't move me forward. Don't I don't want to take your exam. I'm sorry. I don't need to. I shouldn't have to. And they're oftentimes very outdated. What we use, I don't listen. I don't care what you use. I'll be honest with you. Um, do not ask me to take that exam again. And it became a very hostile conversation to agree because I'm very stern because I'm sure very few people have said no, thank you. Why would you hire someone to freelance backend dev when they could use a CMS? Not only big companies who can hire back. Don't only big companies who can hire backend devs need them? I mean, the reason that you use a CMS is you don't need custom functionality. Um, every business needs custom functionality. So, um, and I don't know about you, but I want to work at a big company. Big companies pay the best, they have the least amount of work, and they have the best benefits, typically. Um, is it hard to start a software company? No. Guess what? We just started one right now. That's it. Is it hard to get clients? Probably. That's a different skill entirely. You can start a company today, tomorrow, whether you're profitable, whether you're making money, it's a whole different thing. Hey Dylan, what do you think? I'm on a wheelchair and looking forward to getting a job in tech field. Let me show you something real quick. I'm also in a chair with wheels, and I also work in a chair with wheels that allows me to do my job. You see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to make light of your situation, but no, I don't believe it will have an impact on you in the tech field. I'm sure without a doubt that there are challenges in your life. Um, but the only difference, as far as I can tell, is that you won't need a standing desk. Um, but yeah, no. So I think that you'll be just fine, man. Oh, can you guys still see? Um, can you still see my camera went away on the video? Okay, cool. For whatever reason, it's a black screen for me. Cool. So, but yeah, but I say that just to be clear, not to be, um, not to poke fun or anything like that. But truly, this is one of those things that I don't think will have an impact. And here's the thing, also, is on the very few occasions that it does, you don't want to work with those pieces of shit. You know, that's the truth of the matter. Is if if companies are not interested in hiring you because you are in a wheelchair, or you are gay, or you are black, or you're white, or you're trans, that's unfortunate, but you don't want to work with pieces of shit. And you've dodged a bullet as far as I'm considering, because like if they did hire you and then you had to deal with passive aggressive stuff, people disagreeing with your lifestyle, people just not liking you because of who you are, why would you want to work there? It goes back to early in this call. The thing that you want more than anything else is that you don't want is to be unhappy at your job, because it makes up a large portion of your week. At what age will you retire? As soon as possible, but probably 45. We'll see, man. Kids are gonna throw a whole wrench into the plan, as they do. Um, Melvetta Atkinson donates $5. Thank you, Melvetta. I appreciate that. Um, yeah. How to get a second dev job? Cool. So, same thing. as the first one, except better. So, first thing you do, get your resume updated. Fantastically updated. Get your LinkedIn updated. Fantastically updated. Do all the things that made you successful to get that first job. Get that cover letter looking nice. Have a good answer for why you're looking to leave. The best answer that I can give you is that I give, and this is honest answer. The best answers are honest answers. Is that there's nothing left for you to do. There, there's nothing less for you to mature at this company. You've learned everything that you can, um, or that maybe it's a hostile environment. It's time to leave. So, second dev job, start networking, reaching out. It should be much easier to get that second dev job than it was to get that first dev job. Update your LinkedIn to let them know that you're looking. Your resume in the first year should be 2 to 3 times as better than your after your first job, with 2 to 3 times as better as your second job. So, and then apply like you've never applied before. Hundreds of apps, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of apps. Jeff, no, I think a lot of developers that I've known have done that. Matter of fact, I've worked with developers who have done exactly that. Is it misleading? Um, a lot of things are misleading. Is it immoral? I don't know. I'm okay with it. How do your employers think of your YouTube channel? So, I've always made um, I've had my YouTube channel cost me roles at organizations. I've talked in the past about how I was going to be hired for a principal software engineer role with Oracle, and they turned me down because of that specific reason. Because the man making the decision didn't like that, and also didn't think I was going to work enough overtime. She's right; I'm not going to. Um, but I think YouTube channel played a large part in that. My current employer, it depends who you ask. So a lot of it is it gives them the opportunity to it give it it's good because it shows that I'm growing, I'm learning, and that I'm growing. Um, so that's good, but it also scares a lot of company in this cancel culture where you have to be able to show that you're an adult and that you're respectable. Um, so once you're able to do that, it puts them at ease a little bit. And like I've said in the past, I don't put anything out onto the internet that I can't watch with my mother and father, or with uh, my significant other, or my employer. So run code, yes, man. If you've been at it, so here's the thing, run code. If you've been at it for 2 years and you haven't been able to go and get a tech job, get a dev job, you just haven't been able to make that leap, and you've been going at it for 2 years, then yes, I think it's time to bring somebody else in. I think you've done your due diligence, and now it's time for you to involve a third party to help you fill those gaps that are helping you not be able to land that job. What's my PC setup? I have a custom built gaming PC. Give me a second. I'll give you the specs on it if you'd like. Where is this thing? So I have 32 gigs RAM, a 16 quad core processor, AMD Threadripper, and a GTX 1080 Ti graphics card. I also have um, three 4K monitors in here. I think they're like, I don't even remember. I have four, but I gave April one, so she's coding. Um, um, I also have a standing desk here. Got the mic here. the headset, the keyboard. This pulls out. Um, and then I got the right over here, the mini fridge, the desk chair. You guys want to see a little pic? I'll show it to you. Uh, so that's the computer. The colored side is on the other side, so you're not gonna be able to see it. This is generally the setup here. And then you can see over there the mini fridge. Yeah, I mean, I spent a little bit of money on my computer. I think I spent $3 grand on it when I first got it. Cash. I need that desk. This one's all right. I'd get a different one. So if I was to recommend a desk, I would recommend this one. My last desk, and I actually sold it to my brother, or excuse me, my buddy, uh, for a couple $100 when I thought we were moving to Idaho. And so it's the Autonomous AI Smart Desk to Business Office. And I would get the extra large bamboo top one. It's $529. It I got the walnut one, but I'd get the bamboo or walnut one. My son's a big gamer. He's getting a dedicated room to drink. Sorry, playing. So this is the general flow after you get your first job. Um, um, the you first have to keep your job at that first dev job. So first keep that job so you get developer proficient in those technologies. Hopefully in 6 weeks to 3 months, and then you just get better and better and better. And over those next 9 months, you are learning the things the market demands outside of work that are going to get you pay bumps, that are going to get you pay increases. So if you go and you get a job in Angular JS and you say, all right, cool, Angular JS is kind of deprecated, but it's my foot in the door. Your time now over this next year is to go and learn TypeScript and Angular or React and TypeScript and testing and Git, and you're going to go fill in those gaps into what other workplaces that are working in more relevant technologies are using. That's your objective, and that's how you're going to get bigger pay increases because older technology pays less, and then you're going to move on to more relevant stuff that's going to pay better and is going to make you a better developer. Second, that's the very practical aspect. Second, you need to go and learn agile methodologies if you haven't already, because every company is going to ask for this, and it's kind of stupid because it doesn't really mean you do anything, but go and learn agile methodologies, specifically Scrum, because that just seems to be what business is like. Third, most importantly, I guess these are equally importantly. The first one's a lot of work. The second one's not a lot of work, but is important. And this third one is you need to go and learn how to up the level of your code. So far, we've been purely talking about technologies. You can work in any technology, anything, ever, and not be very good at it, but you can work in it and you can get a job in it relatively easily. What you need to do now is learn how to write software professionally to get to that mid and senior level. Read this book. There's a link in the description. You can get it. This is going to help you learn how to follow clean code principles, write better code, so it doesn't look like hot garbage, and learn some ideologies, some design patterns, uh, clean architecture. Can teach you some additional stuff. I'd also recommend that you go and read the Clean Coder, which is going to teach you how to prepare as a professional. Uh, yeah, I think LinkedIn helps you find a job. I think in today's world, you have to have LinkedIn. That's how I get job interviews. Although you do get a lot of spam. Yeah, all three of those, excellent. Apply them to your code as you're working. Work on it. And if you need another book, Code Complete is another good one. Now, here's the thing: is you need to start being able to apply them, because you can read these things. Because reading it is just a check mark. Yeah, I've read that book. I can talk about how I've read that book. That's good. but it's not going to do anything. You need to start applying this in your current work and your current projects. You'll have a better understanding of it. If you do that, I would also suggest testing. Testing is something that really, I think, if you're going into a senior level role at a better company, they're going to be doing testing. So you want to make sure you're comfortable with testing. All right, guys, we've been going about an hour. As you can see, I'm a little bit under the weather, so I'm gonna call it as here. As always, thank you so much for coming by, checking your checking out how things are going. Look forward to some this week's videos. We're going to be talking a little bit about being a digital nomad. We're going to also be talking a little bit about the conference in the other video. And if someone asked about mentoring, I do mentoring, sort of one-on-one. I do this weekly, on usually on like a Friday or Saturday. But I was at the conference this Saturday, so I do this weekly because this is free, and I want to help you guys the best I can. And but if for whatever reason you think like, hey man, I'd love some one-on-one mentoring, I do that. It does cost $150 for an hour, but I do my best to get you set on the right direction. But if you're interested in that, you can just go shoot me an email at Dylan's email 310. We can do that. But as always, guys, best of luck, and I'll see you next time. Bye.